Hello and welcome to HBM's Crypto-Corner for Tuesday, April 4th, 2017. I want to read you our first article. It's kind of a short one, but it's very interesting. 900-pound, 10-foot giant Neanderthal once roamed Minnesota. The McKeever Times, September 5th, 1884. Gigantic skeletons. A Michigan paper reports the discovery of a gigantic human in a rock near the Sauk Rapids. It says, the head is massive, 31.5 inches in circumference, is low in the front and very flat on the top. The femur measures 26.25 inches, and the fibula 26.5 inches, while the body is equally long in proportion. From the crown of the head to the sole of the foot, the length is 10 feet 9.5 inches. The measure around the chest is 59.5 inches. This giant must have weighed at least 900 pounds when covered with a reasonable amount of flesh. The petrified remains, and there is nothing left but the naked bones, now weigh 304 pounds. The thumb and fingers of the left hand and the left foot from the ankle to the toes are gone, and all the other parts are perfect. Verily, there were giants in those days. So, if you think it's hard enough for skeptics to kind of wrap their heads around the possibility of a large bipedal primate walking around North America, imagine if there were giant Neanderthals still around. And this shows right here that maybe, just maybe, Sasquatches could actually be modern day Neanderthals. Now, wouldn't that be interesting? And some reports seem to match the descriptions. Well, we'll just put it that way. Although they say they're Neanderthals in Russia, so who knows? But it's very fascinating, and this is a fascinating article, as it was written a few years ago. Okay, now if you're looking for usually when you look for Bigfoot, if you find some evidence or you find the creature itself, or let's say you find remains, you report it usually to Jeff Meldrum or John Bindernagel or Esteban Sarmiento or Angelo Caparella, or perhaps Haskell Hart would be a good one too. Any of those credible individuals. But don't sell it to Tom Biscardi, even though he is offering $1 million Bigfoot bounty. Have you had a Bigfoot sighting or encounter that you think could possibly lead to the capture of the elusive cryptid? If so, then you could be the winner of the $1 million Bigfoot bounty currently being offered by Bigfoot Project Investments Incorporated. The company was founded by Bigfoot researcher Tom Biscardi and is a publicly traded company using the stock signal BGFT. According to the company, they are devoting all their resources to prove the existence of Bigfoot, and are putting their money where their mouth is by offering up $1 million. The chance to collect the Bigfoot bounty officially started this past Sunday night at 12:01 a.m., and it ends on Christmas Day, 11:59 Pacific time. There's a kind of simple set of guidelines explained on the website, along with a form for anyone with information to fill out and take their chance of collecting the cash. Bigfoot Project Investments makes their stance clear, saying, Bigfoot is real, make no mistake. From the Bigfoot Investments website, if you have real legitimate information on Bigfoot sightings and encounters in your area, and feel you can provide us with information that will lead to the capture or delivery of the creature known as Bigfoot, then fill out this form to enter the $1 million Bigfoot bounty. You can check out the website and even enter for your chance to win here. Could one of the upcoming Bigfoot sightings 2017 actually make someone a millionaire? Well, as tempting as $1 million is, would you really be willing to sell out your morals or your values or your credibility to sell this information to a guy who, shall we say, is quite controversial? He's just about as controversial as Todd Standing or Rick Dyer, to put it bluntly. No, I'm going to stick with the more credible folks, the credible individuals like Meldrum and Mindernagel and Angelo Caparella, Esteban Sarmiento, Todd Disotell, Haskell Hart. I would definitely stick with those folks as far as if I were to find something, if I were to make a find. I would certainly contact one of those individuals before I even think about contacting Tom Biscardi. And that's the absolute truth. Yes, $1 million is tempting, but it's not worth the cost of, let's say, your soul. We'll just put it that way. And it's not worth the cost of your credibility either, to be quite honest. But we all like to be millionaires? Sure. I would love to be a millionaire, but that's just not in the cards. At least not at this point. And I'm certainly not going to sell myself out just to get $1 million. I'm not going to sell myself out to Tom Biscardi, I can tell you that much. I don't see why anybody would either. Wouldn't make any sense to me. But that's just me. Although I'm sure there may be one or two individuals that may say, well, you know, it's $1 million. It's tempting. John Mindernagel, Dr. John Mindernagel, discusses Alert Bay Bigfoot vocals and more. Here's another excellent research video from Dr. John Mindernagel discussing some recently recorded vocalizations that were possibly made by Bigfoot. Dr. Mindernagel is a professional wildlife biologist and a highly respected Bigfoot researcher who has spent decades researching and investigating the elusive cryptids. John digs into some potential Sasquatch vocalizations that were recorded in an area near Vancouver Island and the British Columbia mainland called Cormorant Island. One of these vocalizations was recorded near the small community of Alert Bay on Cormorant Island in 2015, along with another recorded in the area by a witness in late 2016. The Alert Bay Bigfoot vocalizations have been a topic of debate in and around the Bigfoot community since its release. Dr. Mindernagel discusses the analysis of these vocals by acoustic software and why it's important to document this evidence so mainstream science has the chance to research it further. He also compares the vocals from Alert Bay to some very similar that were recorded in another area considered to be a Sasquatch habitat. These vocalizations could prove to be very important pieces of Bigfoot evidence if mainstream scientists like bioacoustic specialists and others could be convinced to do the further in-depth analysis. He notes that experts could compare these possible Bigfoot vocalizations to the vocals of all known mammals and birds to see if there is a possibility that we could be dealing with a yet unknown creature. So, you know, I highly admire Dr. Mindernagel. He's a good friend. He's a good colleague. And we might disagree on a few things, but he is a good man. He's very, very nice. He and his wife both. And I highly respect Dr. Mindernagel. And I know he doesn't have a whole lot of time left. And, you know, I'm just hoping that he has comfortable, you know, remaining years of his life. It's sad that he's passing on before too long. And, you know, he's been one of the more credible individuals and he is one of my favorite individuals in the Bigfoot world, in the Sasquatch field. So, I mean, it's certainly going to be a sad thing when he's gone, for certain. No question about that. Okay, on to the Texas Bigfoot Conference, which is coming up in October, the weekend of October 6th through the 8th. And it's going to be a good one. You know, I've announced previously that there have been 6 speakers that have been chosen for the conference. That being Lyle Blackburn, Shelley Covington, Montana, David Weatherly, Chess Moore, Ken Gerhardt, and Jerry Hestand. Well, 2 more speakers have been added. None other than Lauren Coleman has been added to the OBC. I mean, the Texas Bigfoot Conference. OBC. I got OBC on the brain. Sorry about that. Lauren Coleman has been added, and so has Cliff Barrickman, yes, of Finding Bigfoot. Our good friend Cliff. And it's going to be a pretty exciting time. I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I do plan on attending the Bigfoot conference this year because it'll be my first time. I've never been, so this will be a great way to, well, excuse the expression, pop my cherry, as far as the Texas conference is concerned. Lauren Coleman's topic will be fact or fake, the Patterson-Gimlin film at 50. Taking the long view of the famed Patterson-Gimlin footage, director of the International Cryptozoology Museum, Lauren Coleman, reviews whether the 1967 film today is seen as a mellow, mature milestone or a fading, fragile fake by different populations of Bigfooters, scientists, and the public. Cliff is going to talk about Bigfoot research and investigations on TV and in real life. Lyle Blackburn, of course, is going to talk about Beyond Boggy Creek in Search of the Southern Sasquatch. His excellent book, by the way. And I've actually seen a video of that presentation. It's really great, of his presentation based on his book. David Weatherly, it's at War with Sasquatch, covering the Choctaw Bigfoot War and other Native American battles with big hairy men. And in fact, I believe Lyle wrote about that in Beyond Boggy Creek, the Choctaw Bigfoot War. Chester Moore will discuss a wildlife journalist's perspective on Sasquatch. Ken Gerhard will discuss Littlefoot, accounts of proto-pygmies around the world. Jerry Hestan, They Always Follow the Creeks, Hunting Apes in America. And he has a new book out, which I'm going to get a signed copy of when I'm in Texas. And Shelley Covington Montana will talk about Bigfoot research for beginners, evidence collection and analysis. And the tickets are now, registration is now live online for folks who want to register for this great event. There are 4 different packages. There's 3 packages. There's also a thing for reserved seating. Reserved seating is $35. That's for the conference Saturday, and as with all of these, you must be paying in advance in very limited number. VIP package number 3 is $70, and that's reserved seating for conference Saturday. Saturday night meet and greet dinner with the speakers, catered barbecue dinner included. Special presentation by Lyle Blackburn, screening of Boggy Creek Monster. VIP package number 2 is also $70. Reserved seating for conference Saturday and Friday night meet and greet dinner with the speakers, which is catered Tex-Mex. Special presentation by Cliff Barrickman, screening of Something in the Woods. And VIP package number 1 is $100. Now that's the one I'm going to hook myself up with, is the VIP package number 1. You get reserved seating for conference Saturday, Friday night meet and greet dinner with the speakers. That's the catered Tex-Mex dinner. Special presentation by Cliff Barrickman, screening of Something in the Woods. The Saturday night meet and greet dinner with the speakers. That's also a barbecue. That's the barbecue dinner. Special presentation by Lyle Blackburn, screening of Boggy Creek Monster. And by the way, all ticket sales end September 30th. So those who are hoping to go to a great conference, well, you couldn't have picked a better one than this one for sure. No question about it. This is going to be a tremendous event. And finally today, we're going to talk about a little bit of sad news as far as for fans of the show Finding Bigfoot. They're about to ride off into the sunset, much like The Undertaker did at WrestleMania this year. They are about to air their final episode, and they're going to air that in probably sometime this fall. But there is an event coming up at the end of this month on April 29th, and that's going to be in Willow Creek, California. The Finding Bigfoot Festival. Series finale, final episode, free admission, open to the public, no charge for vendor booth. Get national exposure, just pre-register by April 15th, Bigfoot merchandise or theme encouraged. The Finding Bigfoot hit TV show on Animal Planet is filming their series finale in Willow Creek, with special guest Bob Gimlin of Patterson-Gimlin film fame. This 3-hour-long episode will feature our town and celebrate the Bigfoot culture with a festival at Veterans Park, complete with vendors, entertainment, contests, and more. Come be a part of this historic occasion as a vendor or visitor and celebrate the iconic footage that made Willow Creek the Bigfoot capital of the world. And more information can be found at willowcreekchamber.com or info@willowcreekchamber.com. And the number to call is 707-335-6202. So it's rather unfortunate that the show is ending, considering that they had pretty high ratings on Animal Planet. But I think we all knew this was probably going to be an eventuality. We knew this was coming, folks. I think that it's really not a shock to a lot of us who were figuring that since they haven't filmed any new episodes, shortly after this past season, I kind of figured that it wasn't going to be too much longer before they'd be riding off into the sunset, and that's exactly what they are doing. Which is, it's a sad thing, but this leaves room for, I guess, Cliff and Bobo to have their own spin-off show. So that would be pretty cool. Cliff and Bobo with their own spin-off show. I would certainly watch that. And of course, you have Mountain Monsters, which I know is staged and everything, but still a fun show. In fact, I'm watching it right now because we have Destination America on our dish package. We have Killing Bigfoot, for those who like that kind of thing. We have Monsters and Mysteries in America, which is still going. But as far as weekly legit Bigfoot programs, those are the ones you have. Those are the choices we're going to have after the ending of Finding Bigfoot. Although I have to say, Finding Bigfoot's going out with a bang. I mean, they're going to have Bob Gimlin there on the show. It's going to be pretty awesome. This is his second time appearing on the show. The first time was on the Birth of a Legend episode back in 2011. So I think it's a great way for the show to go out. It's going to be a 3-hour episode. And that should be interesting. 3 hours. But, I mean, they want to go out with a bang, by the way. And, I mean, it's a sad occasion, but hey, Finding Bigfoot lasted longer than a lot of the other shows that have been on. They lasted longer than Mysterious Encounters, lasted longer than Monster Quest. They lasted longer than Mountain Monsters. Mountain Monsters has only been on since 2013, a couple of years after Finding Bigfoot premiered. But some of these Bigfoot shows, they just don't tend to last very long. But I mean, Finding Bigfoot was able to find a niche and was able to last for over almost 6 years, which is a record in the Bigfoot field. And if Cliff and Bobo do decide to have a a spin-off show, then maybe it'll last as long as Finding Bigfoot did. It would be pretty cool. Now, I read some comments on my Facebook show saying that, suggesting that maybe the Olympic Project should get its own show. I would certainly watch that show for sure. Them, or perhaps Todd and Diane Neese. They could follow, a camera crew could follow them on their boat, the Jaku Shikari. They could troll the Columbia River. Or they could research near their cabin near Mount Hood. Those would certainly be some really excellent programs for sure. With credible researchers, I mean, those are some good suggestions. But for the moment, we're going to have to take what we can get. That's Killing Bigfoot and Mountain Monsters Mysteries in America. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing the final episode of Finding Bigfoot once it airs, which I'm hoping will maybe they'll air it like in October, right around the time of the 50th anniversary of the Patterson-Gimlin film, which, can you believe it, is 50 years old this year? Amazing. Like the line in Lenny Green's song, just that kind of man goes, amazing through the years, the test that film has stood. Though it never was accepted as the proof he hoped it would. But Roger's search to find the truth would not be left behind, touching each of us today across the sands of time. And it's very true. That film has endured. And it's amazing, 50 years after the fact, that we've had this amazing piece of footage which has never been conclusively debunked as a hoax. In fact, excuse me, every analysis that's been done on that film has only proven its reality. It's only strengthened its reality, really, if you think about it. And, I'm just honored to know Bob Gimlin, the only living eyewitness to what happened that day. Truly, truly amazing. And, he has endured so much grief over the film from the skeptics and from people who just think that he was a hoaxer and all this stuff. Of course, I don't look at it that way. I do not think, excuse me, I don't think if it was a hoax that Bob had anything to do with it. If the film is not genuine, then, it had to have been well planned by Roger Patterson. If it's a hoax, which I don't think it is. But